Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here to talk about how assault weapons bans and general weapons bans and gun laws actually made guns more dangerous. The rules. The historic assault weapons ban was established in 1994 and then, as planned, was eliminated in 2004. Previously, there were numerous legislative acts that limited the right of an American to own firearms, such as the National Firearms Act in 1934, the Gun Control Act of 1968, the Firearm Owners Protection Act of 1986, the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, and then later on, after 1994, you have the Domestic Violence Offender Crime Ban of 1996, and all those are still in effect today. The 1994 law said that if a rifle had a detachable magazine and two or more features, which were listed, it said that it was an assault weapon. Keep in mind that the American military definition of an assault rifle requires that the firearm is select fire and cannot be semi-automatic. Now, let me break that down for people who don't know. A semi-automatic rifle is a rifle, or just any semi-automatic weapon in general. You have to pull the trigger, let off the trigger, and pull it again to fire 2 rounds. So every time you pull that trigger, it fires a round. But there's a gap in between. With a fully automatic weapon, you can hold that trigger all the way down and it will continue to fire. They're two completely different systems. Alright, semi-automatic technology is well over 100 years old. It's really that old. And to get rid of semi-automatics would basically be like getting rid of your fridge for an icebox. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, besides watching my video, you should also watch other videos like that pesky assault rifle ban, assault rifles behind the propaganda, Gun Gripes episode 38, the Clinton assault weapons ban, Gun Gripes episode 14, gun laws that are FUBAR. Also, the assault rifle myth. Collateral damage. Many times the term collateral damage is used to describe the harm that is unintended but is caused by a use of force. Many people can be injured or killed by such issues. More user-friendly and reliable rifles prevent such events from happening. If you have a rifle that's not going to have a mechanical issue, it's easy for the firer to acquire a shot and accurately hit that shot, you're not going to have collateral damage, innocent people getting killed. Now, before I get too deep into my discussion, just some photos I'd like to share. At the top you see a Ruger 1022. Below that, what looks like an SR22. Alright, they're basically the same gun. They're both semi-automatic. They fire a 22 caliber round. The one at the top is, well, to many people, less imitating. The one at the bottom, it has things like a collapsible stock. It has a pistol grip. It has a flash suppressor. And people are just afraid of the way it looks, even though it has the same physical capabilities. Now, at the top, you have a Ruger Mini 14 Ranch Rifle. At the bottom, you have a tactical style of the same Mini 14. It has, once again, a telescoping stock. It has a pistol grip. It has what appears to be a little larger capacity magazine and a flash suppressor, but overall, it's the same basic functioning system. This is a photograph that was used in a newspaper to talk about some of the things in the gun ban which were regulated. Now, you couldn't really have things like retractable stocks, pistol grips, bayonet lugs, flash suppressors, or grenade launchers. Now, when I say grenade launcher, you're probably thinking like M203 grenade launcher. It fires grenades out just like bullets. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about a little, type of metal device that was used to launch a particular type of grenade, which I'll elaborate on later. But it's just interesting they don't even show that in the actual photograph. Now, this was another photo I found online, which was pretty good at explaining what exactly I'm getting at. What makes an assault weapon more dangerous than any other semi-auto? And there really isn't much at all, if anything. Alright, rifles appear a little more scary looking, perhaps, when they have more modern features. Heat shields, which actually protect your hands from burning. Larger capacity magazines that actually allow you to protect yourself from anyone else who has a larger capacity magazine. Rifle with a pistol grip, so you can better acquire your target. A collapsible buttstock, making it easy for the rifle to be carried around, and also other features I'll elaborate on later. A carrying handle, which, besides making it easier to carry the rifle, in my opinion, actually make it a safer form of carry. Forward pistol grips were not something that was legislated out with the assault weapons ban, but have been regulated since 1934, and many people are trying to get rid of. Alright, thumbhole stock, another thing which you can use to more accurately fire at your target, is something which some people are trying to get rid of. Now, this is the example of not just a telescoping, but a folding stock. Let me show you what I'm talking about. A folding stock is a stock that folds alongside the rifle. This makes it easy for the rifle to be carried around. It doesn't get too bulky and run into things. Now, a really useful device is a telescoping stock, because not everyone is the same height. Some people are shorter, some people are taller, some people's rifles are just made for people of certain heights. And the ability to make a rifle easy to be used by people of various heights means that it's a safer weapon because the people using the weapon are going to be more accurate in their shots and less likely to cause problems. This is that ever so deadly and scary pistol grip, which everyone seems to hate for some reason. I don't understand why. We don't legislate them out in drills. Now, there was a myth going around which was basically, eliminated with this video, shooting down anti-gun lies pistol grips. This gentleman showed you that the myth that you can fire from the hip easier with a pistol grip just doesn't make any common sense. You actually have to reach your arm around the stock and then get back to the grip to fire. If you have a standard hunting rifle, say with a Monte Carlo style stock, it's actually easier to fire from the hip. Now, you're not going to be very accurate either way. But Granddaddy's old hunting rifle is even more lethal if you're talking about firing from the hip. Pistol grips, in my opinion, might actually just allow someone an easier shot ability. So this way they're not going to, shoot holes in walls and things like that and cause more damage. Now, a bayonet lug. Let's get a closer look at it. I really don't understand why bayonet lugs were eliminated out of modern rifle designs in the assault weapons ban. Maybe it was just to try to aggravate gun manufacturers. But in my opinion, if you want a bayonet lug, I mean, I don't know of any situation where there was a mass bayoneting in cities, but if you really want to defend your house and someone might run up on you, it's a good idea to perhaps have a bayonet. Now, this is a flash suppressor. It doesn't make the weapon any more lethal. What it does is actually prevent the flash from blinding you. Imagine it's the middle of the night and an intruder walks into your home and he's in a violent manner and you have to shoot him. Would you really want to stare at this and go blind in the darkness? Your next shot's not going to be very accurate because you're probably not going to be able to see. That's why we have flash suppressors. So that it's not so the person firing the rifle becomes invisible. It's so that the person firing the rifle can better see their targets. They don't become blinded like when a police lob in a flashbang grenade inside of a dark room. This is a threaded barrel, another thing which the assault weapons ban tried to get rid of. With a threaded barrel, you can put things on like these blast deflectors or muzzle brakes. What they're designed to do is actually blow the blast away from debris that could be around the ground, like, dirt, dust, debris, anything that would blow up, block your line of vision, and perhaps even injure people around you. This is designed to make the gun flash safer in a sense. Alright, this is a compensator device at the end of a Kalashnikov-style rifle. It's designed to prevent the barrel from lifting up. Alright, if you fire multiple rounds many times, eventually you can have an anti-aircraft gun, which is no good. Alright, so if you want your barrel to be exactly lined in on your target, a device like this compensator, which can be screwed into the end of your barrel, will allow you to have more accurate shots, safer shots. Another type of compensator is this device. Many weapons have extremely high amounts of recoil, which are very dangerous because you don't want the gun bouncing back into your shoulder and bouncing all over the place, and then you're going to be hitting things you don't want to hit. A compensator reduces recoil and means for a more accurate weapon. Now, this is a barrel extension that can be screwed into a threaded barrel. There's all different types. This particular type was designed to help cool down the primary barrel. If a barrel gets too hot, it can warp. A warped barrel is not very accurate, which is dangerous. A severely warped barrel can actually break bullets up inside the barrel, and that's really dangerous to anyone around the gun. Other types of barrel extensions can be used to increase the muzzle velocity of the round, and perhaps also affect the rifling of the bullet. The rotation of the bullet through the rifling. Now, that would mean for a more accurate shot. Isn't that what you want? Now, this is just your standard barrel shroud, which some politicians really don't understand what exactly it is. Just type that in. Politicians don't know what a barrel shroud is. It's a funny video. But it's designed just to protect the firer's hands from getting burned. It's designed to dissipate heat. That's its sole function. This is that scary grenade launcher device. It's really nothing more than a little piece of metal at the end of a barrel. You can't get these grenades by law, and you can't even get them because they haven't been manufactured for decades. This is a foregrip on a pistol. It's been regulated since 1934. You have to get a very expensive tax stamp, and a gun has to be registered to use this device. So it's not something you're going to see every day, but foregrips at the end of normal rifles are something that some people are trying to legislate out. I've personally fired rifles with foregrips like this. I feel that they're pretty accurate and might actually make the weapon, something that a new shooter should have, something with a foregrip so they can better hold the rifle down. Now, maybe some people disagree with me, but I don't believe it should be legislated out. Another thing is this heat shield that's on top of this rifle. Politicians believe this little stamped piece of sheet metal is so lethal that it needs to be banned. I don't know why. It prevents you from burning your hand. And imagine someone who burned their hand, that quick reaction. What can happen if they have a gun in their hand? Just something to think about. A carrying handle. No different than that which is on a purse. That's all it is. In my opinion, it actually makes a safer carrying habit because the hand is further away from the trigger. Now, I had that video up where I essentially debated Barack Obama on gun control. And I said that the power of assault rifles is grossly overestimated. On the left, you see the 2 small cartridges that are from assault rifles. All the rest of the ammunition is designed for hunting. Obviously, these bigger bullets are a lot more lethal. The truth about AK-47 firepower will further elaborate on that. Now, another thing that I don't really understand is that since 1934, weapons have to be at least 26 inches long and have to have at least a 16-inch long barrel. If you have anything smaller than that, once again, you have to go through the whole registration and tax stamp procedure because you have an SBR, short-barreled rifle. If you're defending, your home, do you really need or really want a huge unwieldy rifle? You don't want that. When you're walking around your house, you want something small and compact that you can easily maneuver around. Now, also, composite weapons are something which has basically been legislated out of existence since 1934. If your primary weapon system fails and you still have to defend your family, isn't it nice to have a secondary armament? Just something to think about. Suppressors. People are definitely afraid of these things. In my opinion, a suppressor is something which actually can help the community. Because you don't want to scare people by these loud, sounds of gunfire, especially if someone breaks into your home in the middle of the night, someone hears gunfire, the whole community can start going crazy. So if you have a suppressor, you're being polite and you're also not creating a scene. Magazine capacity. The whole fallacy of limited magazine capacity, I'm going to have to address that in a separate video. Other issues. The making of a fire more difficult to use is not just a potentially lethal inconvenience for a healthy homeowner, but also as an act of discrimination against someone who would need a special part on a rifle to fire it. It may be someone's disabled and they need, a foregrip or something like that. You're discriminating against them because now you've totally eliminated their right to defend themselves. Some people might also look to the illegal black market to acquire rifles with certain features, and therefore now they're giving money to the criminals we're trying to fight. All right, so you're creating a black market by making certain things illegal. That's a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. It's unbelievable. I look at these laws, and I really believe maybe government's trying to make rifles more dangerous so that there's more access which they can use as a pretext to eliminate the rifles altogether from civilian hands. I don't know. But it's just something to think about, like I said before. Take care, everyone.